Now, it was about 2 years after that some things happened to our family that I remember hoping at the time would be forever erased from my memory. My father and my grandfather were home designers. They worked for a large construction firm in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And then in the end of September, suddenly, with no notice, the company filed for bankruptcy and closed its doors, owing between my grandfather and my father a little under $30,000. Now, that was 1969. And I can remember $30,000 being an awful lot of money at that time. Still is where I come from. But now with my father out of work, thousands of dollars in commissions and bonuses seemingly uncollectible, hard times began to sit like wolves at our doorstep. Now, how many of you remember school savings accounts? Did you ever have those? We had them when I was in school. You had the little ledger sheet, and you'd take maybe 75 cents or 80 cents every other week, and you'd write it down the ledger, and you'd see the balance growing, and you'd see the interest add, and it taught you the value of saving. And I remember school savings accounts. Well, shortly after that happened, we stopped contributing to our school savings accounts. And then the week before Thanksgiving, I can remember very clearly my father taking us down to the bank to cash in our school savings accounts because we needed that money for groceries. And I can still recall the look on my father's face, and remembering at that moment that I hoped I would never see that look again. It's a sadness that can only be expressed through the eyes. Now, he didn't need to take us to the bank. He could have just as easily sent that request with us to school. But my father believed strongly in always facing up to what is going on in your life, and he wanted to teach us kids that. Well, obviously that year we didn't have money in the household budget for store-bought gifts or fancy wrappings and ribbons, but it ended up being a very special Christmas. I remember the exchange of gifts. My father was a very gifted craftsman. He was a carpenter before he was a home designer. And I remember him excusing himself to go down the basement, only to emerge a moment later with a different look on his face, one of pride, one of joy, and one of deep love, as he carried up his present to me, which was a wooden desk, simple in design, but crafted with love and pride. It had a Formica inlaid top on it, and it had a cabinet that had a door that opened up that had a lock on it. A place for a 12-year-old boy to put the things that were most private to him. And I can remember that night, the first thing I locked in my cabinet was a ledger from the closed school savings account. From a winter of struggle, a winter of unsurety, was born the most cherished Christmas that I had ever remembered, that I'd ever enjoyed. Today, 38 years later, although I've received hundreds of gifts in my lifetime for Christmas, there is only one gift that I still have in my possession from the days of my youth. And that is a wooden desk, simple in design, but crafted with love and care and pride. I want you to keep that in mind when things seem to be going uphill in your life, when the chips aren't falling your way, and there's struggle and uncertainty that you're dealing with. Because God said to be thankful in all things.